Instead of becoming the uniting factor, religions have, rather the faithful ones have divided many religious groups and communities. And that's very painful because religion, relegare, rejoining whom? Each other. And when we are connected with each other, only then we can dream of uniting with the Lord, united with that ultimate divinity. Is that not the purpose of all of us? That the drop merges in the ocean, raindrops falling in the ocean, becoming the ocean. And we are all that, each one, each Atman, a raindrop, becoming the ocean eventually. The dissolution, ultimate merger is the goal. Can oil drop merge in the ocean? It can float eternally. It can never become part of it. It only means my qualities, my real essence must match with that of the ultimate if I have to merge with that. Otherwise, you can remain in the closest proximity with the ocean, but you can never merge. That will be very sad. Dogmas and beliefs, they are good. Religions, all religions carry these dogmas and beliefs. God is everywhere. It's one of the beliefs. When you ask your mother or father, do you believe in God? The simple answer comes, why are you asking such questions? Don't you think I believe? Sometimes such questions can make them angry also. That you ask them, why do you believe? Oh, my mother says so, my father says so, our scripture says so, our dharma says so. But mommy, what do you say? She'll say, beta, tune abhi tak khaya nahi hai, tu kha le. She will not have any answer. We have to find the answers from within our heart. Someone asked my master a beautiful question. Babuji, can you show me God? And you were wondering what answer he will give. And prompt came the answer and he said, suppose if I show you God, how will you know it's God? So there comes the role of spirituality. Religion gives us the idea of presence of some higher entity, and we believe those words with trust in our parents, trust in our religion. So faith begins with belief. Now when you're talking of faith, recently I learned about Hazrat Pir Inayat Khan, who was born in early 19th century and who went to the West trying to spread Sufism in the West. When he seeks the blessings of his Murshid, his Guru blesses him with one statement, may your faith be strengthened. And in the beginning, he didn't realize what he was talking about. Maybe he would say, may you be more successful, may you be more productive, may you be more spiritual. But he said, may your faith be strengthened. We have faith, we all have faith, but there is a spectrum of faith. Like we have spectrum of light. Frequencies are from low to the high or high to the lower. Everything has a frequency. So is in the faith, in love. In hate also there is frequency. And how can we strengthen the faith? Just by believing, will my faith be strengthened? No.
Faith is strengthened by my personal experience. In science, there is no room for faith. If I throw an apple up, apple is bound to fall. If I touch the electric socket, I'm going to have the shock. I don't have to believe in it. I don't have to have faith in it. Apple is going to fall back. Spirituality being esoteric, the same thing you may do, same meditation you may perform day after day, you perform, another person also performs. Outcome of both will be different. We all meditate in the same place. Each and every one will have a different experience, different result of the process. And each one's results will guide them. Guide them how? To their heart. If you read Vedas and Upanishads very carefully, there is more than 100 times reference to the heart. Lord Krishna also says in Gita, Hridayam Pashyasi. Also, he says, I dwell in every heart of every living being. And think over, where are we searching for God? Vedas, Upanishads, Gita, they all talk of the heart. Presence of the Lord is in the heart. Experience the presence in the heart. But our way of search is outward, is outbound. How can you succeed in such a case? Even when you are face to face with the Murti you worship, with the belief, with faith, with love, with adoration, with reverence, what happens to you there? Have you watched people walking around, waiting in line to enter the Tirupati temple? All with a lot of faith, but as soon as you reach the deity, what happens to you? You close your eyes. And what are you trying to do there? Trying to feel something that may happen in your heart. Isn't it? You could have done that at home also. Even politicians, may there be wisdom in them. Congress fellow will go there, my Lord, may I be the winner. BJP fellow will go there, my Lord, may I be the winner. And they keep throwing cash. You think that cash will be taken to Vaikuntham? You are only fooling gods. And every religion without an exception are successfully using two weapons. One of fear, that if you don't do, this may happen to you. You may go to hell after your death. And you are scared. You become chicken. And there is another bigger weapon, temptation. Temptation of heaven. All that is being rejected to be performed here, all that celibacy you have penance for, you expect everything reversed in the heaven. You want everything that you avoided be gifted there. This is a transaction. Unwise transaction, foolish transaction. A real spiritual seeker would say, my Lord, I don't even know you. Be honest. Can anyone amongst here, present here, with respect to all, put your hand on your heart and say, I have experienced God. And that's what we like to say. My God, I don't know whether you are there or not, but I like to experience your presence in my heart. And we should sit with supplicant mode, with reverence, with puja bhav, without conditioning ourselves that God is like this or God is like that. Remove all indoctrination that we have received and bombarded with from our childhood. Even Lord Krishna during his lifetime, how many people could understand him? Even Prophet Muhammad, even Lord Jesus Christ, how many could understand these great personalities during their lifetime? Poor fellow was put on the cross. Prophet Muhammad, he was hunted from Medina to Makkah and Makkah to Medina, trying to save his life. People wanted to kill him. Lord Krishna, he was hated by the majority and loved by very few. And who could understand his avatar Purusa status? None. Even when Arjun was sold the universal form, he said, please come back to my friendlier form. I like that one better. I don't like this one. It's very fearful. So even while showing the real form, you cannot recognize. Even seeing the real thing, you cannot recognize a personality. How are you going to understand? By seeing the imageries. Don't talk of Shraddha. It's out of fear and temptation. Your Shraddha is a whitewash. When you meditate and make that dogmatic belief, which is good, it's better than not believing. But the next better step would be to experience the presence, to experience the Lord in your heart. That's why we say, my heart is the laboratory. In this laboratory, I will run my experiment, whether God is there or not, and see the results, and see if this result can transform my personality, if this can change me. And once we experience, then we say, yes, I have realized my knowledge is verified, my belief system is verified. And the next step will be even more painful. Having experienced creates more pain. I'm telling you this from my personal experience. You will understand this, the tragedy of momentary experience, because you look forward to it again and again. It should have become permanent. So the practices. Let me give you another example, that if you happen to be with your friend, and that friend happens to be one of those Ambanis,
many gurus flock around him, enjoy the hospitality of such wealthy people. Next thing what happens? You are there for 3 months perhaps. In heart of your heart, what do you think? I'm enjoying this, I'm having a great experience, but I wish I was also as rich, isn't it? So divine experiences, however great, they're better than simple knowledge. But I have to become that experience. Divine experiences are like carrots sown to a donkey, so the donkey keeps walking, keeps carrying the load. Without these experiences, no yogi would ever practice yoga. So, from experience, I must learn how to become. Experience must teach me to become divine myself. And that also is not the complete journey. My experience shows even the states of Satchitanand, which people claim that it's the ultimate experience of the Sahasra Dal Kamal, but there is much more awaiting us. SDK is a diversion.
It's your test, last test in your journey. If you are trapped with this anandam, you are finished. You will enjoy this eternally, this anandam. But remember, it's like a worm that relishes the cow dung. We must transcend even the anandam. It's easy to lose your family members. It's easy to say, become ascetic, leave your family. It's very easy. Any fool can do that. To renounce anandam, and that the ultimate anandam, it's not a job of a big or small soul. It needs courage. One must go beyond. And that is true renunciation. Say goodbye even to anandam. From being, you enter the zone of non-being. And it is from this non-being that every being emerged. It is this promise for which I have to dissolve my differences. That if I maintain these differences right from the beginning, I'd be trapped in this jail of religions. I must free myself because all these religions are there because of the times. When so and so was born in particular time, particular place, they coined certain rules, certain maxims, certain lifestyle orders, which may not be applicable in modern world. I'll complete my talk with the last story that I wanted to share. At the age of 18, I wanted to become a monk. The passion was there. I was in search of my Ramakrishna, the great Paramahansa. I wanted to become like Swami Vivekananda. I said, why not? And I muscled myself, took courage in my heart, and left my home. Because in the morning, I didn't say even one thing to my parents, but with closed eyes, with respectful heart, I left home. I reached to Narmada. There was a big Shiva temple, very ancient temple, and there were many Aghori Babas, almost dozen of them. I just sat there, watching them, what they were doing, and there was a very respectable elderly person there, also a Aghori Baba. He must have been 80 plus. He kept watching me, and as the sun was setting, he came to me and he asked me, Bete, yahan kya kar raha hai? My son, what are you doing here? So I pleaded, would you become my guru? Would you accept me as your shishya? I would serve you to the best of my abilities. There were tears in his eyes. Bete, my son, I am now 80 plus. I have not experienced God. I have not felt anything so far. Now I have become a beggar. All these people, they serve me. They go from house to house. What have you become? You have the chance to serve your family and you will find godliness present there. The same month, I happened to meet a trainer of heartfulness while I was in the third year of pharmacy college in Ahmedabad. In the very first session of meditation that was given with Pranahuti, I was transported to a zone I cannot even describe today. She was a very simple lady, also the trainer of heartfulness, trained under Babuji Sahab, Sri Ramchandra ji. There, in the mid of meditation, a flash occurred. The left hand raised, no face to be seen, with a golden aura, and I knew this is Ramakrishna Paramahansa. My eyes melted, I was gone. no idea where I was. It's like, you were absolutely gone, finished, zonked. She, my trainer, the preceptor, she kept touching my knee. Bas kijiye, that's all. Hari Om. Then she herself started crying. She said, what samskars you have brought with you. Tomorrow I will send you to another preceptor who is better than me. So she sent me to another preceptor and I started my journey on heartfulness with transmission, with pranahuti. And this is how I began, and now I am in front of you all, a product of heartfulness. Not a day will repeat, not a single day of your sadhana will repeat where your experience will not be different. Every day will be different because always moving means movement like Atman. Atman is moving toward Brahman. And slowly, as expansion happens, as the evolution of consciousness happens, movement now becomes expansion, thinking becomes contemplation, and we move towards subtler and subtler and subtler realms. Many of you may ask a question, what is this pranahuti? How different it is from Pranapratistha and Shaktipat. We'll take this up some other session, and thank you for your patient listening, but I would request you only one thing. You believe, develop faith only when you have experienced. Pray to God to reveal that. Thank you.
Dhanyavad or pranams, Daaji. We now take the pleasure to welcome a former electrical engineer turned a monk, lifestyle coach, motivational speaker. He's spoken across the world over 2 decades, even at the United Nations and at the British Parliament. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for His Grace Sri Gaur Gopal Dasji from the ISKCON.
Dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a very good morning to you. It doesn't look like you're happy seeing all of us. A very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming from many parts of the world. We can do much better. A very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. That sounds so much better. Can you imagine if we try to keep all our boundaries of genders, religions, nationalities, socioeconomic statuses all aside and come together as one force, as one humanity? Can you see the power in our voice? Can we do that again? Suprabhatam, ladies and gentlemen. The power when boundaries go away. The power when hearts connect. And therefore, it is a commendable initiative. My heartfelt gratitude to the Government of India, to the Ministry of Culture for organizing such an incredible event, the Global Spirituality Mahotsav. This initiative is bringing so many people, regardless of faiths and affiliations, together with open-mindedness to explore spirituality. My gratitude, of course, to Honorable President of India, Draupadi Murmuji, who will be gracing us this evening for the inaugural function. Gratitude to Shri Kamlesh Patel ji, Daaji ji, or I don't know if it's just Daaji or Daaji ji, but since I'm just Daaji, Shri Kamlesh Patel Daaji ji, my gratitude. Gratitude to all the heartfulness volunteers who have put this together. Can you imagine putting this event together?
How hard that is? How many of you are good at spellings in school? How many of you are terrible at spellings in school? How many didn't care about spellings in school? One boy in school class was asked by his teacher, 7-year-old, which state of India are you from? He said, I'm from Arunachal Pradesh, madam. So can you spell it for me? He said, I'm from Goa actually. Right, who spells Arunachal Pradesh? Now, if you spell the word success, the second letter of the word success is U. And we cannot spell the success of such a grand event without you. Right. Without you. You can't have the word success without the vowel U. If it's just SCCESS, how do you spell that word? So ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, without all of you, this event is no event. My respects to all of you for coming with such open hearts and such open minds to explore this diverse, deep space of spirituality. How many of you have problems in your life? Okay, brilliant. Any of you have any health problems? Any workplace politics problems? Any financial liabilities? Any emotional issues? Mental health issues? Any relationship problems? Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest problem and the biggest issue in finding inner peace is problems. The biggest issue in finding peace is problems. How many of you would like to have a solution to problems? All of us. Take your smartphone, go to your wallpaper settings, change the wallpaper of your lock screen and your home screen to the picture of your spouse if you're married. And whenever you have a serious problem, look at that picture like this. And say to yourself, if I can handle this, I can handle any damn thing in my life. Sorry about that joke. Sorry about that joke. The fact is, whoever we are, problems are an integral part of our life. Do you think the esteemed guests sitting on this dais don't have problems? Do you think they will not go through health crises? Do you think they will not have governmental issues when it comes to building things of this scale? Spiritual or no spiritual? When we are human beings living on this planet, we are all going to experience problems just of a different kind. इसलिए मैं कई बार कहता हूं, मौत को तो लोग यूं ही बदनाम करते हैं जी. मौत को तो लोग यूं ही बदनाम करते हैं, तकलीफ वैसे जिंदगी से है. मौत तो एक बार खत्म कर देती है. Death will finish us once. Life is what is bothering us every single day. Life is what is causing a threat to my inner peace. Challenges, issues, problems, calamities, trying circumstances, difficulties is what is ruining my inner peace. How many of you felt, now my health is better? Have you ever given that sigh of relief? How many of you felt if you were in a toxic relationship and you have go through a divorce and say, done with this toxic relationship? How many of you had a financial liability and when you cleared that loan you said, As soon as a problem goes away is when you give a sigh of relief and say, peace. I'm peaceful. For a lot of people in the world out there, the definition of peace is absence of problems. Why have you come here? Because there's so much going on. You've come here to disconnect and find some peace within. Peace is equal to absence of problems. People think, oh, let all the problems go away and then I'll be peaceful. I say completely the opposite. First be peaceful, you'll be better off in dealing with your problems. Right. If you say, let the problems go away and be peaceful, today one problem will go away, tomorrow there'll be another one, guys. My health is better, there's a financial problem. My finances are better, there's a relationship problem. Relationship is better, there's a social problem. Social is better, there's a weather problem. Will there ever be an end? Don't wait for problems to end to be peaceful, because problems will never end. Find your peace. And when you find your peace and your inner peace, it is from that space of peace that you will be able to deal with your problems effectively. If there's one thing that the world lacks today, is individuals who can navigate through their challenges and be at peace. The world is a collective reflection of individual consciousness. If I am not peaceful, how will the world be peaceful? If the citizens on this planet, if the brothers and sisters, the ladies and gentlemen, the boys and girls, if every individual doesn't find their peace, how will the world be peaceful, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to tell you a story and probably give you 3 or 4 things to reflect on as you leave this place after 4 days as a practicing principle. There was once a king, and the king was extremely fond of art and paintings. He made an announcement that anybody who makes a painting depicting peace, the best painting will be rewarded with 1,000 gold coins. Thousands of artists came. They all started painting, making varieties of painting to depict peace. There was a gentleman who was screening all the paintings, and out of all the hundreds and thousands of paintings, he selected 2. And they were both covered with a veil. Now the king was to come on stage, unveil each of them, see what was painted, and decide out of the 2 who was the winner and who gets the 1,000 gold coins. The king came on stage. He unveiled the first painting. What did he say? A beautiful, crystal clear lake, aquamarine waters. There was such clarity you could see the bottom of the lake. There were beautiful mountains, birds flying around, clear skies with fluffy clouds floating in, beautiful swans swimming on the surface of the lake. And the king said, wow, my goodness me, this seems to be like the best painting depicting peace. He went to the second one. He unveiled the second painting. The second painting had a dark, gloomy, depressing sky with lightning in there, huge rain showers. There was a mountain which was dry, no greenery, and there was a tiny little branch jutting out of the mountain. On that mountain, on that tiny branch, was a nest. And in that nest was a mother bird feeding her little ones, the birdlings, with great affection and love. Guess which one did the king reward? The second painting. Because the first one is a myth. Life is not serene. Life is not calm. Life is not clear. Life is not peace. Life is challenges. Life is chaos. Life is mayhem. Life is issues. Life is difficulties. Life is trying circumstances. Life is tribulations. And in the middle of all this darkness, if I can have my inner nest here, my heart like that nest. Outside is a gloomy sky. Outside is thunderstorms. Outside is lightning. I lost my job. I lost my parent. I lost my spouse. I lost this. I lost my health. I lost my money. Lost. This is the world outside. But when I enter into the space of my heart, like that little bird, feeding the tiny birdlings, that is peace. The real depiction of peace. Finding peace within in a world full of chaos, in a world full of mayhem. And that is exactly what happened on the battlefield of Kurukshetra 5,000 years back. Chaos, mayhem, confusion, lack of clarity. One Arjun standing there didn't know what to do. His properties were taken away, rights were taken away, their wife was disrobed, their sons were killed. And in the middle of all of that, he was on the battlefield now trying to do his duty. He didn't know what to do. In that confusion and darkness, he turned towards his friend, mentor, guide, and guru, Shri Krishna. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava prachhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yachreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadhi mam tvam prapannam. I turn to you. I don't know how to navigate through this darkness, Krishna. Please guide me. We need a guide. We need a mentor. We need a spiritual teacher. We need a guru to help us find that nest under that dark sky of gloom and depression. And when you listen to such spiritual mentors, guides, such luminaries sitting here today, and you'll be listening to so many in the next 2 or 3 days, listen to them, not to follow them. Otherwise, you will simply be a blind follower of another guru. Listen to them, not to follow them. Listen to them, not to listen to their voice. Listen to their voice so you can start listening to your own voice. If you cannot listen to your own voice, the whole spiritual path has been a big failure. I conclude my speech with these last 4 things that I'd like to recommend all of you. Take note of it, practice this. When you're going through challenges and you want to find your inner peace, say to yourself always, in an equation, there is a pi, 3.1814. You can't change it. But in that equation, there is an x. And focusing on the x empowers you. The more you focus on the pi that cannot change, you will be frustrated. Say to yourself, I will not waste my energy and peace on pi. The second thing, say to yourself, the world's problems are not my problems at the moment. I'm not an enlightened being yet. I'm okay to deal with my own share of troubles at the moment. Say to yourself the third thing, I don't need all answers and everything sorted out right now. Life is a journey. Things evolve. You don't need everything sorted, everything clear right away. And fourth, if you're a believer, turn to God. If you're a non-believer, turn to life, universe, whatever. You don't have to do it alone. Turn to somebody to whom you can connect and take off that stuff from your head. And as Kamleshji Patel Daaji ji said, in this world today, let's religions not divide us. 2 plus 8 is 10, 3 plus 7 is 10, 6 plus 4 is 10, and so is 1 plus 9. There are multiple ways to reach 10. The end goal is 10. Whether I add 2 and 8 to be 10 or 1 and 9 to be 10, we are all meant to reach that stage of 10. Let us respect each other. Let us not just, he mentioned that we should tolerate, shouldn't be tolerance alone. It should be acceptance of each other. Tolerance of each other to acceptance of each other. I would try to say one more thing and add to the beautiful thing he said. Beyond tolerance and acceptance, let us celebrate each other's connections as a great humanity. Once again, my gratitude to all of you and to Daaji ji and the Ministry of Culture for giving me this opportunity.
Dhanyavad, or thank you very much, Gopal Das ji, for all the energy and the inspiration. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. It gives us great pleasure to welcome Brahma Kumari Usha ji, a senior Raja Yoga meditation teacher and a management trainer at the Brahma Kumaris Aishwarya Vishwavidyalaya, based at the global headquarters in Mount Abu. With her innate qualities, capabilities, and Supreme Father's blessings, she has focused her strength and speciality into a meaningful channel. In fact, she is a practical example of applied spirituality. Ladies and gentlemen, Sister Usha Ben.
Om Shanti. Greetings of peace from Mount Abu, from our Chief Administrative Head, Dadi Ratan Mohini ji, and our seniors. And thanks so much to our government, Ministry of Culture, our respected Kamlesh Bhai Patel, Daaji, our eminent speakers, brothers, and all the ones who are present here, brothers and sisters from various parts of the country and abroad. It gives me a great pleasure to be with you all here today and share some of the insights that we have on this subject, that we are celebrating today, the Global Spirituality Mahotsav. Mahotsav means celebration. So we are all here to celebrate. And this celebration is unique. Why? Because it's a spiritual celebration. You have been in many Mahotsavs around the world, but they are for the enjoyment of the body, or they are the enjoyment for the self for some time being. But this is a Mahotsav where we enrich ourselves, where we empower ourselves, and we recharge our batteries, the soul batteries. So can we just spare some moments? And as Brother Gopal Das said, let us go within for a few moments and connect ourselves with that spark which is inside. And relax yourself for a few moments. So turn your attention for a few moments from the external world and let us go within. With your inner eye, visualize yourself as a being of light, the soul. And my innate nature is peace. I calm down my thoughts for a few moments and experience the silence within. Slowly and gradually, I turn my attention to the Supreme Being, who is the source of light, the source of peace. And as I connect my mind with the Supreme, I allow the power of peace to empower the self. And I radiate that peace around me. I allow that peace to flow to the entire world. I allow the vibrations to spread in the world so that everyone can be at peace. Om Shanti. As our brother rightly mentioned, that peace is not something where we find that everything is so serene and we can experience peace. Otherwise, people may go to the jungles, may go to the seashores maybe to experience that peace. They may go to the mountains. But we all need peace while being at our place, living in the life full of challenges, and still my mind is at peace, calm, positive. That is what we all need. It reminds me of a beautiful story that once there was a person who put a challenge in front of many, that whoever can stay in peace, can stay alone in a house for 1 year, I'll reward that person 10,000 rupees. Nobody took the courage. There was one young man who said, okay, I can try and take up this challenge. So he accepted. And he said that this is a place where you have to stay for 1 year. You cannot meet anyone. You cannot have any television. You cannot have any mobiles. You cannot have any internet connection with you. Nothing. You have to stay alone. You'll get some books to read if you want to. For 1 year, you have to be there. So initially, when he had nothing to connect himself with, not to the world, not to anyone outside, there was frustration that was getting inside him. He started banging his head. He started pulling his hair. And he had a buzzer that if you fail and if you don't want to go on for 1 year, you can press this buzzer button and come out. But you'll lose everything. So he was about to press the button, but then he remembered the 10,000 rupees, which he was in great need of. So again, he would go here and there in the house, but he didn't know what to do. After 10 days, finally, he was just sitting one day, and gradually, he went inside. He really felt that source which was inside him. He connected himself with the real identity. And then gradually, he was so peaceful inside. He started meditating. Gradually, he got connected with the Supreme. And there was so much of power and bliss that he started experiencing that he did not even realize how the days passed by. 1 year was about to complete. And the person who had put the challenge in front of him, that person went bankrupt. He had no money. So he thought, let me just go up to him and say, wake him up, bring him outside, and tell him that I'm sorry, I'm not able to pay you that 10,000 rupees. But when he went to the door, he saw a note there, and on the note it was written, "My dear friend, you have given me something so incredible that I cannot find any words to thank you. I don't need your 10,000 rupees. Now I'm on my journey to experience the real peace and happiness in life. So I thank you so much for giving me that." So we all need that peace and happiness in this world. Being and doing everything, we need that peace. But for that, we really need to empower ourselves with spirituality. Just as when a person does not have physical immunity, a little bit of change of weather can affect his health, and some viruses or some viral fever, cold cough can come up. Similarly, today all these things are disturbing my mind, creating a lot of frustration, not allowing me to experience peace because my spiritual immunity has come down. And this is the best place and the best thought that our Kamlesh Bhai Patel has come up with and the government of India has come up with, that we need to empower ourselves with spirituality. And the day we are able to do that and increase our spiritual immunity, definitely we'll be able to rule the self and will be able to conquer the hearts of many. And this is our culture. This is the culture of India. It does not matter which religious background we come from, but our culture is that we need to empower ourselves with spiritual knowledge, with spiritual wisdom, and arise, enhance our internal powers, enhance that power of peace which is inside. Therefore, the great saints have said, peace is not outside, it is within. We have to go within and experience, realize, and empower ourselves with that. Then, when the spiritual immunity comes up, then no matter whatever comes up in my life, nothing can disturb me mentally, emotionally, physically. Nothing can disturb me because we are beyond and we know how to handle our lives very well. Bhagavad Gita, in the essence of Bhagavad Gita, it is said, जो हुआ वो भी अच्छा, जो हो रहा है वो अच्छा, और जो होने वाला है वो बहुत अच्छा. The only thing is I need to develop that perception, that perspective, to look at life, what life is teaching me, what life is giving me, something valuable, which I can treasure it with myself forever and share with others also. So let us see life. Whatever has happened was good. Whatever is happening is good. And whatever is going to happen is going to be for the best. So let us look forward and apply this spiritual wisdom from Bhagavad Gita in our practical lives. Enhance our spiritual immunity, and then we can see how we'll be able to find peace with ourselves, with others, and spread that, radiate that out into the world as well. With these words, thank you very much for listening. Please. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Sister Usha Banji. Pranams and Dhanyavad. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives us great pleasure now to welcome. There are only few Jeeyars who accept disciples irrespective of their caste. He's a yogi, a guru, a spiritual guru known for his Sri Vaishnavism. Subscribes to the tradition of Sri Vaishnavism and the designer and planner of the Statue of Equality a statue dedicated to Ramanujacharya, a Padma Bhushan, Sri Tridandi Chinna Sriman Narayana Ramanujana Jeeyar Swamiji, Vedic scholar, spiritual teacher. His Holiness Chinna Jeeyar Swamiji, may we request you for your address, please.
आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदा लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्. जय श्रीमन्नारायण. Dear Bhagavad Bandhus, we are so privileged to be here with all of you on this wonderful global spiritual Mahotsav, which is aiming from inner peace to world peace. It's a great Epicurean ideology, isn't it? But is it really practical? Yes, it is practical. When the governance is great, when the laws are perfect, when the administration is strict, it's really practical. But now, are we seeing that in the reality? We know the Lord Rama reached his own place again recently in Ayodhya. And now Rama Rajya is expected. We want Rama Rajya, where every citizen is respected and every part of this nature is also respected. Rama appeared on this earth during Treta Yuga. 2 yugas before, probably it is said, 1.75 million years ago. It is said Rama wanted to, or probably his avatar is to make a model human being or show that to the society as how an ideal society should be. We can go on talking about the great qualities that one has to possess, taking the example of Rama. As long as Rama was in his kingdom, he saw one type of world and he was pretty happy with it. But after some time, Rama entered the real world to the forest. He spent there for a few years. And then he found the real world. There, people are not happy. People are enveloped with a kind of terrorism in animal kingdom, in demon kingdom, and thus in human kingdom too. And he thought, it's not something that I need to practice to set these things to right. They should be dealt with properly. And for that, he dealt with Wali, who was an animal in the forest, in an appropriate manner. And he dealt with Ravana in another way to control him. Then he returned and then started inculcating that peace among the human beings, what was called as Ramraj. As long as there was Wali, as long as there was Ravana-like beings, Rama was not able to spread the message of peace, because to practice something from within, you need, first of all, the body should cooperate. And the body should be secured, protected. But that was lacking because of persons like Valis
and Ravanas.
Until and otherwise, that terrorism was strongly taken care. And perfect system was established to take care of the rest of the people. He was not able to establish the peaceful life, what we call inner peace. Then Valmiki said, the great sage who recorded that historic time, Ramo, Ramo, Rama iti prajanam abhavan katha. Rama bhutam jagadabhut Rame Rajyam Prasasati. When Rama was ruling the kingdom by practicing all good qualities that he was possessing, and he was inculcating among the human beings, because there were no terrorist external forces on those people, they were able to practice those things. For which we need to first of all have an understanding as how to respect each individual. Rama has given a great chance to even Ravana to rectify himself, not to become a terrorist and be cohesive with the rest of the world. But Ravana was not able to listen to that, and thus made him, Rama, to control Ravana. We need to understand something here. After eliminating Vali, Rama was not interested in establishing his own kingdom there. It was again those people have to rule their own kingdom, and Rama allowed Sugriva to be the ruler, again an animal king, to take care of those animals. And when Ravana was eliminated, Rama was not interested in establishing his own kingdom there. He was not interested in converting those people. He wanted them to practice their own culture, their own civilization, and their own traditions and customs. He never looked down towards them, and he never wanted to impose his own things on them. He made again another demon called Vibhishana, who wanted to understand the systems and then allowed them to rule their own people. We know today people across the world are under the clutches of terrorism. If it is just at the sprouting level of the terrorism, yeah, it can be addressed with definitely with inner peace. But when it started spreading its branches and roots so wide and strong, then the need is the rulership, and then perfect and stringent laws and the bureaucratic system to follow that very strictly. Then only people of that land will be able to practice whatever you say. Otherwise, when there are pressures, when there is violence, how anybody will be able to practice it? People need a kind of a security for their food, clothes, shelter. If the rulers of that land are able to provide these things to the people first, and then there won't be any kind of a need for the people just to turn back from their faiths just for the sake of food or shelter or health, or they need not become victims for any kind of allurement. Bharat was a place for good culture, good civilization, and having open hands for anybody from across the world. Because Bharat believed that we need to worship whatever we believed in. At the same time, we need to respect the systems of the world, whatever they are. And thus, we have to live with each other. I need to respect you. I need to follow my own, worshipping my own way taught by my predecessors, my gurus, and my forefathers. But sometime what happened? The people from across the world believed in worshipping their own, but forgot respecting others. People in Bharat also remembered that we need to respect everybody, but worshipping our own was forgotten. Thus, this country was under the rulership or invasion of others for thousands of years. Fortunate enough, we are in Amritakal today because the people who are at the rulership now to this country are able to understand that we need to provide all sorts of security to our people for food, for cloth, for shelter, and for their own self-empowerment. Probably recently we heard that under Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, our beloved Prime Minister assured people that you get minimum 5 kgs of your foodstuff for another 5 more years. Started probably during the period of COVID. Assurance for their living, so that they need not be allured by others, need not be turned back from their faith and adopt something else of others. Rulership is great, strong, stringent with the laws. Then the people will feel security to turn to inside and then start excavating the peace. My friends, there are systems which are working well across the world. If you look at Australia, where they strongly stick on to the law of the land and they never compromise with the law of the land. And they never disrespect the systems of others, whoever living in their country. But if somebody wants to say, because we are major in number, we want to follow our own law, then the Australian government will very gently say, it is really great to follow, to believe, to stick on to your own practices, which sometimes may not be in coherence with the law of this land. But then you can go to a place other than this country where you can practice them safely. Please. My friends, why I mentioned this to you? As long as the ruling of the country is not strong enough to protect their own law of the land and a common code for everybody, you won't expect peace there. Terrorism will definitely take place, because the creator of these human beings, we hear the names in different ways. Let the name be anything. The creator of these human beings, created with 2 faults. It is probably the mistake that he made. One, domination, and second, possessiveness. These 2 are manufactural defects of human beings. He made the man like this. I need to possess whoever comes on my way. I want to dominate them. Probably the reason of science, the reason of technology, the reason of any advancement is to prove one to be more dominating and more possessive. But when the rulers of the land are able to understand the value of following one's own law of the land and respecting every others from across the world, then there won't be any kind of problem. Fortunate enough, we are calling this time as Amrita Kal. You know why? After 75 long years of independence, we have the government at the center who understand the law of this land, the culture of this land, and the civilization of the human race on this earth. We know very well, though there are departments from the center, and never they have taken an initiative to have a department of culture and to do something for that. But now it is probably became Amritakal because they wanted to see that the culture is preserved. And the inner core of the culture must be brought out by bringing all people together and talk about how we can be together. There will be definitely some kind of differences because difference is something make everything unique. This finger is different than this finger. There is a difference, but there is no disturbance. There is difference, but there is no clash. We want these two fingers must be together to work with each other, respecting the system of each finger. Then only your hand will be able to produce something good. Same with religions, same with the spiritual paths. As just now we heard from our respected speakers, spirituality has so many facets. As Gopalji rightly said, 1 plus 9 is 10, 8 plus 2 is 10, 7 plus 3 is 10. There are so many ways. We need to respect each way. So there are wonderful religions across the world which are able to bring people together. Spirituality and the religion are two very, very powerful things which are able to bring people together and control the minds of people. If they understand the value of worshipping one's own and respecting the rest, let it be anything. I may be a believer in some power called God, and my friend may be a non-believer of God. Doesn't matter. The belief and the faith are only for one's own growth, not to fight with the other. And if I want to grow by myself with my faith to understand others, it's really great. Let your atheism be with you in your growth. Let my faith in God be with me in growing by myself. But let both of us be together. Why? Because we want to live in a society. We want to be with the society. And we want to go with the society. And thus, we both, an atheist and atheist, should go together, work together for the benefit of the society ultimately. I need not convert you as a devotee. You need not convert me as an atheist also. Because our faiths are divine. Our faiths are serene. So let us stick on to our faiths. Let us stick on to our beliefs. And let us worship them. At the same time,
let us respect the rest of the systems of the world. This is what exactly Rama did during his time. He believed in the animals' system, and hence he did not want them to convert as humans. No. You live as you are, but be with the society. Don't harm others. So made Sugriva the ruler there. And then he believed in demons also, because there are also a few creatures and they have to survive in their own way. So he made not them as humans, but again he made another demon ruler, Vibhishana, who is able to understand, work with the society as the ruler of them. And he led a friendly life with them. Rama was friendly to Sugriva animals. Rama was friendly to demons. Rama was friendly to the sages and others. We as humans should have such a kind of government and the rulers who are able to protect our own faiths and cultures, at the same time able to provide a security for all of us, so that one need not capture, occupy, dominate others, and then want to grow oneself. If that system is adopted, it will be really great. We offer our prayers to our current rulers of our center, who are able to think about the culture of this land, the core of this Bharat Atma, that is practicing one's own with worshipping nature and respecting everything. As a matter of fact, that is the very reason why atheists came to this land, Islamic people came to this land, Christians came to this land, Zoroastrians came to this land. Many, many religions, many faiths, many people from across the world came and able to settle down in this land. That is the greatness of our Bharat. Accepts everything. But at the same time, worships her own law of the land and common code for everyone equally. This is what Rama just said 1,000 years before. 1,000 years before. And practiced it to the word and spirit of that. Unfortunately today, we have our beloved Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, who believed in this and want to see that it is practiced to the spirit and letter of that. Worship your own and respect all. Remember, when such a time comes for us to practice really, but till then, that is not the end. That security is only for the physical body. But the real purpose of the life is something different. That is a higher purpose. That is inner peace. Inner peace is the ultimate. So, I say, from inner peace to world peace, or from world peace to inner peace? Is the egg first or the hen first? If the debate comes, here are great scholars, great leaders, great gurus, great thinkers and visionaries who are able to guide us. And here in our Kanha Shantivanam, our Daaji is providing a very beautiful and very auspicious platform for people to discover by themselves. But let us all pray to the Almighty, whom people call as God with different names, to provide a perfect government, rulers who will be able to follow the Atma of this Bharat and at the same time make the law common for everybody and make the bureaucratic system also to work perfectly to their ideology, and let the Ministry of Culture take their core ideology to different organizations, those who are assembling here from across the world, to come out with their common ideology where all of us can work together. All of us to work for the society at the same time, following our own customs, practices, and traditions. Our Mangala Sasanams to Daaji for his good health and long age, so that he can be a sutram for all the manis to glow well and glorify the humankind for the future peace and future prosperity. We are very happy that all of you are here to take that joy of understanding the inner peace and thus can multiply it manifold to spread it to your friends and relatives across the globe. God bless you all, and Jai Sriman Narayan.
Dhanyavad, Jeeyar Swamiji, and pranams. Ladies and gentlemen, I now request all of you to please put your hands together for Swami Atma Priyananda. He was the first Vice Chancellor of Ramakrishna Mission, Vivekananda University, and he has joined Ramakrishna Mission in 1978. The Indian University Administrator and a Sannyasin of the Ramakrishna Order. Swami Atma Priyananda, may we request you for your address, please.
We will begin with the peace chant, Shanti Mantra. This mantra which I am going to chant is from the Rig Veda. How many thousand years old we do not know. Our ancient sages and seers always prayed for peace, and every Upanishad is Vedanta, the end of the Vedas, is prefixed and suffixed by the Shanti Mantra. Om Jau Shanti Antarikshagam Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apashanti Oshadaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishve Deva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shantireva Shanti Kama Shantiredhi Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. May peace reign in the skies. May there be peace in the interstellar space. May peace reign on the earth. May peace be there in the water bodies, the rivers and the oceans. May all the vegetation be peaceful. May the environment be peaceful. And all the forces of nature, may they be peaceful. And the Supreme Being from whom peace emanates, let us fill us with peace. And peace may prevail everywhere and in me, in everybody. Om, peace, peace, peace. Om, that existence. I happen to be the last speaker, but not the last word on what is being said. In the Hindu religion, there is no last word because continuously it is being renewed, rejuvenated, Sambhavami Yuge Yuge, as the Lord Krishna pronounces in the Gita. Swami Vivekananda, in his famous lecture on the universal religion, ends by saying, is God's book ever finished? Or is a continuous revelation going on? It's a marvelous book. One page of it is the Vedas, another page is the Bible, one more page is the Quran, Zandavasta, and so on, and continuously more and more pages are being written. My salutations to the prophets of the past, my salutation to the prophets of the present, my salutation to the prophets who will be coming in future. I open my heart to everybody. And another context is said, all of you should become prophets yourselves. You follow a prophet so that you can become a prophet yourself. You have the prophethood within you. Buddha was only a state which Siddhartha attained. So every one of you have that prophethood, the infinite divinity within, and that has to be manifested. His famous definition of religion. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity within by controlling nature, external and internal. Do this either by work or philosophy, psychic control, by one or more or all of these, and be free. This is the whole of religion. Doctrines or dogmas or temples or rituals or books are only secondary details. Taking a clue from what Inspector Daaji said this morning about tolerance and acceptance. Swami Vivekananda, in his famous lecture, 11th of September 1893, the Parliament of Religions of Chicago, he said, I am proud to belong to a religion in which the Sanskrit language in Vedas written, the word exclusion is not translatable. There is no exclusion, include everybody. And he said, we do not believe in toleration only, we believe in acceptance. We accept all the paths leading to the divine goal as equally true. Then why is it that we disagree? The last day of the Parliament of Religion, 17th of September 1893, Swamiji Vivekananda told a small story, very small, interesting story, very famous story all of us know. There was a frog which was living in a small well. His entire world was confined to the well. He used to swim, move about in that small well. And one day he saw a bigger frog suddenly jumping into the well. And this frog, the small frog, was very happy. He got a companion and curious, where does this fellow come from? Where are you from, my friend? The sea. Of course, it's a story. Whether frogs live in the sea, we don't know. The sea? What is that? Is it as big as this? It jumped from one corner to the other corner. Then the frog from the sea, he said, what do you mean? The sea is only this much, you think? He jumped from that corner back to the old corner and said, is it that big? You cannot imagine how huge is the sea. Then the little frog said, this man is a liar. There cannot be anything which is bigger than my own little well. Swami Vivekananda said, I am a Hindu. I live in a small well called Hinduism. You are a Christian. You live in a small well of Christianity. The third person in Islam lives in a small well. Each one of us are living in small wells, each of them being true at the same time, but none of them can exhaust the infinitude of the divinity. This is one fundamental idea which is the basis of religious acceptance. This is very scientific also. What is the definition of God, divinity, by whatever name you call it? That it is inexhaustible, that it is infinite. How can infinite be truncated? How can infinite become small? Infinite by definition can't be finite, and a human conception will always be limited by your mind and the body and the senses. That's why the Upanishads repeatedly say, the mind cannot reach there, the senses cannot reach there. If you say, I have realized God through my senses or my mind, the God whom you have realized is only limited, conditioned by your perception. That God is good enough for you, keep it. Now the question arises, how is it that every one of these perceptions God be equally true? If one is true, the other should not be true. Or a couple of them may be true. How is that each one of these different varying perceptions of God, infinite, be equally true at the same time? 3 years after Swami Vivekananda passed away in Mahasamadhi, 4th of July 1902, there is an outstanding discovery made by Albert Einstein, at that time as a patent of his clerk. He published a seminal paper which completely revolutionized our idea of space-time. And that gave us a complete different perception of the world, what we call as Wilton Schwang. He said, we look at objects stationed in a particular frame. I make it very simple for all of you. Theory of relativity, called the special theory, is something which is supposed to be very difficult to understand. Einstein himself said, very few people understand. He said, can you tell us the relativity theory in simple words? He said, Newtonian physics said, if all the matter in the universe vanishes, only space and time alone will remain. What the relativity theory has proved is that space and time will also vanish along with matter. So the perception which you have is from a particular frame of reference. Drawing an analogy from there to the spiritual world, the religious world, my perception of God is conditioned by my mind and my body, my senses and my samskaras, predilections, preconceived notions. Your perception of God is conditioned by your idea, your predilections and so on. So each one of them as seen, conditioned by the perceptions of an individual's
thinking, mind and the senses, each one of them is different. All the quarrel begins by saying, my perception is right. Not only my perception is right, my perception alone is right. Added to that, your perception therefore should be wrong, and therefore you come and convert yourself to my perception. This has been happening not only across religions, it's also intra-religious. How many sects and how many small differences are there among the various sects in Hinduism itself, in Christianity, Islam, and so on? Why does it happen? How can each one of these perceptions be equally true at the same time? Is it scientific? Is it possible? Is it true? So I have 2 minutes more. This is the problem of being the last speaker. Now, how can each of one of them be equally true is a question which is answered by Einstein by saying, nature does not have any preferred frame of reference. There's so many frames of reference which we have. As Eddington, in his famous book, The Nature of the Physical World, says, you have a label here, the rightness. You are wondering to which frame you will attach this. And you're puzzled, look at the label, it's a blank label. Rightness in regard to frames of reference is a blank label. Nobody can assert this is only the right way of looking at God or the divinity. Each one of them is right because it depends on the frame from which you see this. There is a phenomenon called Fitzgerald's contraction in relativity, which says a moving rod contracts along the line of its motion. A 10-foot rod can appear to be 4 foot or 3 foot or even 12 according to the frames of reference. Suppose you ask, which is the actual length of the rod? The answer is each one of them is true, and the actuality which you are asking for cannot be found except beyond the frames of reference which condition you. This is an important thing to realize. Very simple. And when we talk of individual peace and world peace, which is the theme here, Swami Vivekananda once again referred to his realization in Almora in Mayavati, where he realized the oneness of the microcosm and the macrocosm. This is also a scientific idea. Every scientific idea has this idea, the macrocosm which is small and the microcosm which is vast. We call it Vyashti and Samashti in Vedanta. Entire world is there within you, and you are the world and the world is you. And the peace which you find within permeates and percolates everywhere, and the peace is not possible without happiness. There's one more point which I want to highlight and stop. Everybody wants joy. Where do we find joy? The Upanishad says, Yad bhuma vaitat sukham na alpe sukhamasti. Only in the infinite is joy. In the small, finite, there cannot be any joy. And without peace, you cannot have joy. Ashantasya kutas sukham. The Bhagavad Gita says, when you have no shanti, peace, you cannot have any sukha or joy. These two are interrelated. Therefore, to realize oneself as the vast infinite, and which we really are, Vedanta tells you, you realize your infinite real nature. That's what you are. Without realizing this, and if you think you are a small, limited entity conditioned by this body and the mind and the senses, you will always be in sorrow. There is a talk about troubles all the time in the world, etc. The trouble is how you perceive it. If you feel yourself with the infinite, then there's no trouble for you. Swami Vivekananda's story once again, a mosquito was sitting in the horn of a bull and went on biting the bull the whole day and it felt very repentant. He said, Mr. Bull, I will go away. I've been troubling you for too long. The bull looked up and said, oh, you are here. I never noticed you. Come on, come and settle down on my horn with your entire family. All your life, what can you do to me? That is the challenge of Hindu religion, Vedanta. Because I am the infinite. What kinds of troubles can come to me? I am the huge ocean. Rivers may come and join me. The Bhagavad Gita, once again, second chapter. Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudram apa pravishanti yadvad tadvad kamayam pravishanti sarvesa shantim apnoti na kama kami. The rivers come and join the ocean, and the rivers tell the ocean, too many rivers are coming there. No, come on. Any amount of rivers you come, I am the vast, infinite ocean. I will end with one more story, taking a clue from what respected Daaji said about a drop of water falling in the ocean. It's a real incident which happened in Vivekananda's life. Vivekananda was in Paris, in France, and there's a great celebrity in those days, an opera singer, well known, Emma Calvé was her name. As most of celebrities perhaps are, she was extremely upset, lonely, depressed, almost to the point of thinking of putting an end to her life. Somebody told her, there's a great Indian yogi here, you may perhaps get some consolation from him. She went to meet Swami Vivekananda. He was quietly doing some study in his room. He did not even look up. The moment this lady entered, Vivekananda said, even before looking up, my child, what a terrible atmosphere you have brought with you. Calm down, calm down. She came and sat before him. Swamiji looked at her and started speaking about some of the innermost secrets which she never shared with anybody else. She became flabbergasted, confused, frightened, started crying, Swami, how did you know all this? Has somebody spoken to you about me? Swami just smiled and said, is it necessary? I can read you like an open book. Then he gave her this Vedantic, Advaitic impulse. You are the infinite. Don't brood over your sorrow secretly. Realize that you are the infinite. All the troubles that come and go pertain to your mind and body. They are like mosquitoes which are sitting in the horn of a bull. Cheer up. Realize your real nature and think of it. The spiritual impulse of this great soul went straight into her. She was almost losing her consciousness, entered into kind of samadhi. She became terribly frightened. Swami, I'm losing myself. What are you doing to me? Swamiji usually used to say, you Westerners, you are so fond of your individuality. Mocking them, you are not individuals yet. You shall be when you are universal. Then he told this story. The water drop was falling onto the ocean. And the drop was crying miserably. The ocean said, why are you crying, my child? Oh, I'm going to lose my individuality as the water drop. The ocean smiled and said, my child, you are not going to lose your individuality as the drop, but you are gaining your individuality as the ocean. You were me, and the rays of the sun took you up. You are now coming back to join your billions and trillions of water drops, your brothers and sisters, which is the ocean. So if we realize ourselves as the ocean, which is the truth, declared by sages and saints across all religions, 100,000 times they have said this in all the religious books. They have practiced, documented, and if we realize this, remind ourselves of that which is true, we will also be blessed by realizing We are not small little beings, we are the infinite ocean. And the extreme Advaitic text, the Ashtavakra Samhita says, I am the infinite ocean of consciousness from which the entire world of beings is rising. Mayananta Mahambodho Ascharya Jiva Vichayaha Udyanti Granti Khelanti Pravishanti Swabhavataha. We are that, and such a person who realized it himself will be a source of great peace to the world. He may not talk, he may not move around, he may not even express. His very presence will be a blessing. Vivekananda said, the power of thought is irresistible. A great saint lives in a cave and sings 5 holy thoughts and passes away without expression. These thoughts will penetrate through the walls of the cave, fasten onto some heart, and work out there. So this great institution, Heartfulness Foundation, is an example of this. It will fasten on to somebody, Daaji, and will work out here. And what works out is a result of that great holy thought which has been derived from the infinite consciousness. No human being creates all this. In the infinite consciousness which you call God or whatever name, all these thoughts are remaining there, which is the cosmic internet server in which all our thoughts getting constantly uploaded now, and anybody from anywhere at any time can download it from there, provided he has the password. The password is the mantra which the Guru gives you. Use that password, download happily from the internet. There is infinite broadband connectivity 24/7. Thank you.
Check. Hello.
Thank you, Swami. Thank you very much. We have 2 more minutes left in this session. Let's take 2 questions from the audience, please, to the panelists.
Namaste, everyone. First of all, before I ask my question, I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you to the spiritual leaders for sharing your wisdom on the stage. Thank you, Daaji. Thank you, Heartfulness. I actually had a question for Gopal Das ji. My name is Aryan Arora. I'm an actor and singer from New York, and I wanted to ask a question in regards to social media and inner peace. Now, in this day and age of social media, there's always negative and positive sides of it, right? And we're all trying to find that inner peace within ourselves, but social media has become a medium to spread spirituality throughout the world, to spread this wisdom to everybody, especially the youth. But at the same time, social media tends to give a ride to your ego at times. And even in the process of creating content, and hopefully creating content with a positive mindset, with a purpose, sometimes you get into that mindset of likes, what other people are gonna think. And during that process, sometimes you feel like, oh, maybe if I do this, that will be better and more perceived and accepted by other people. And I wanted to get your understanding and take on this. How do you believe we can tackle this new day and age of technology? How can we tackle social media, use it to our benefit and the benefit for everybody in this world so we can all obtain inner peace? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that brilliant question. How do we really use social media as a great medium to spread inner peace and not allow social media to ruin our inner peace when we look at what other people are doing and lose our authenticity as well? I've always believed in a few things. Number one is our relationship with anyone or anything in the world is only effective as is our relationship with our own self. the more we work on our relationship with our own self and our relationship with divinity, what's happening in the world doesn't bother us as much as it would have otherwise. If we find ourselves disturbed, we find ourselves in the mode of comparison, if we find ourselves in the mode of dirty competition, if we find ourselves in the mode of what we would call the rat race, then it also means that there is somewhere we are lacking a deeper connection with our own self. Which is precisely why people who are out, just like a massive tree, a huge tree, the way it grows above the ground, that's how much the roots have to go deep within. If the roots are not deep, if the roots are not strong, a storm, you wouldn't even need a storm in fact. A small gush of wind can bring the tree down if the roots are weak. So the more we grow externally, that's how much we have to do internal work. And if we find that that internal work is lacking, the external tree is going to be a threat. So number one, I feel it's critical and very crucial and important that we have a spiritual practice, a sadhana on a daily basis where we make connection with our own self and we make connection with divinity. Because when that relationship is in place, then the external elements cannot threaten us as much as they would have otherwise, right? Number two is when we are talking about social media today is one of the most powerful mediums to communicate, express, and spread what we need to spread. We can spread negativity, we can spread gossip, we can spread hatred, we can spread love, we can spread divinity, we can spread peace, we can spread spirituality. It's a powerful tool. The issue is when instead of using it as a tool, we become a tool. And that's why living in awareness is very important. Moderation is very important. Discipline is very important. If we don't have these, we're going to be consumed by the wave. If we don't want to be consumed by the wave, discipline, moderation, intent behind the content is also very critical. People are just producing so much content, but where's the intent? If the intent is missing, we're going to be carried away by the wave. So discipline, moderation, uh, intent behind the content are also very critical to stay in proper alignment so that we don't get carried away. And comparison has its own value. When we look at what others are doing, we can seek inspiration to follow our aspiration. The problem is we don't seek inspiration. We look at others and we either try to copy, we try to feel superiority complex that we are better than them, or we feel inferiority complex that we are probably lacking something. Maybe if we do this, we will also be like them. Right? But comparison has tremendous value. Today we have so many spiritual leaders here, each one of them in their own way have something incredible to offer. If we are looking at it that way, we're going to say, wow, I've learned so much from each one of them, and I feel enriched and nourished, inspiration to follow my own aspiration. So I can look at so many content creators on social media, seek inspiration from their qualities, seek inspiration from their ideas, seek inspiration from their fundamentals, then to work on my own journey and what I'm myself doing. And usually I say this just to end my answer. I would like to say that, back in the day when people would fast, there would be religious and spiritual fasts. The driver who brought me here has been fasting now, ending for Easter and Good Friday. He said he's holding a 40 days fast, 1 meal a day. In the modern day and age today, when we are looking at a spiritual fast, I think a spiritual fast should be a fast from social media, a fast from smartphones, a fast from Google. And if we do all of that, probably God will come down and say, it's okay, my son, man, please take it easy. I'm feeling heartbroken seeing your determination. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much, Gopal
Thank
Dasji. Thank you.
One last question, please.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank all the religious leaders and gurus for blessing us with your knowledge and wisdom. My name is Himanshu, and I'm a lawyer and influencer. So my question is from Shri Atmapriya Nandaji. So I wanted to ask, like, whenever there is a philosophical discussion going on, people are often unaware or a little confused about their faith and beliefs. So I wanted to know, like, can you give us 2 tips which can help us to bring inner peace?
2 tips for inner peace. Do you want peace?
Yes, I do. I think everyone does.
Then you will change. I have seen friends who are looking for peace,
Yes,
looking for meditation. One
yes.
of my friends, a very successful person, IIT and IIM, both beginning with I, unfortunately. He said, Then he came over. He wanted to stay for a week. After a couple of days, he said, "There's too much." He said, "There's too much of silence here. Just I want to go out for some time and come back." Where do you want to? I don't know. He came back after a couple of hours. I asked him. He said, "I went to the Howrah station. So much of noise. Trains are coming and going. People are moving around. I stood there. Said, great peace I found because this is too much for me." So what kind of peace you need, you should first decide. Just like our the previous speaker said, if you are put in a corner, you will not be able to take it. We want peace, but we actually crave for company, crave for recognition. We crave for so many things, and therefore the peace is affected the moment you crave. This is the state Gita. Naseshataha, and the desire that you have, it what takes you away from peace. So the first tip to peace is, do you really want it? Are you tired of this entire world of hurry-burry and hurly-burly and competition, envy and jealousy, and people trying to go up the ladder of so-called success? Are you tired of all this? If you are not tired, please go ahead. You will find peace later on. You should be tired of all this. This is the first step Vedanta also says. Second is, if you deeply want peace, find out what is the way for you. Your way may not be anybody else's. You are going to a restaurant, huge amount of food is there, several varieties of food are kept there. Don't compare one with the other, which is good or which is bad, which is for you. So find out, read everything. This is called Viveka. The first is called Vairagya, the second is Viveka. Find out discerning intellect through intelligence, through thought, through contemplation, through meditation, through advice of elders, Sadgurus, Upadesha. You find out which is the path for you and take that and pursue it. We always want solutions. When solutions are given in the scriptures by the Sadgurus, we do not actually want to follow it. It is not easy. Everybody thinks he is after peace, but we fundamentally want noise. Our mind is constantly clattering. Outside may be very peaceful. Our mind is constantly clattering. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, the great sage of Arunachala in the southern part of India, says, Shumma, first be quiet. We can't be quiet. Even can you sit straight quietly for half hour? As Gopalji just now said, everybody checks whether the mobile phone is there in his her pocket Immediately you feel terribly perturbed because your whole prana is there. So Christ said in the Bible, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Where is your treasure? What exactly you want in life, you first find out. If you want peace, you will definitely find peace. That is called Vyakulata according to Sri Ramakrishna, Mumukshutva according to Vedanta. If you really want it, then you will be tired of this whole thing and pursue it deeply within.
Thank you, Swami. Thank you very much. That is the end of the first plenary session, Inner Peace to World Peace. On this note, I request Daaji to present mementos to our esteemed spiritual gurus. Firstly, to our Additional Secretary, Ministry of Culture, to Ranjana Chopraji. A huge round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends. To Shri Gaur Gopal Das ji. To Sister Usha Banji. To Sri Jeeyar Swami ji. And to Swami Atma Priyananda ji. Thank you, Daaji. Thank you to all the esteemed spiritual gurus. May I request all of you to kindly come forward for a group photograph. Request all the gurus to step forward for the group picture. Ladies and gentlemen, Global Spirituality Mahotsav, the main plenary session, Inner Peace to World Peace. A humble thank you and gratitude to all the esteemed gurus. And in a short while, we shall begin the plenary session, Spirituality in Daily Life. At this moment, I would like to mention about the tree plantation Mahotsav post-lunch around 2:30, where all our esteemed spiritual leaders shall be joining in this momentous moment, the tree plantation, where the